You know, this is getting crazy, right? What is this, my third live stream in less than 24 hours, I think, something like that? It's no wonder you all still come to these things, but you all show up all the time, and I appreciate you all. But StreamYard is telling me they were live, so now I just gotta wait for YouTube to let the rest of Vibe Nation know that we're live so we can get on and begin the podcast. But your boy been pretty busy. This is going to be a busy week. I had 2 podcasts last night that you guys were witness to. I got one tonight, another one tomorrow night, and another one on Thursday night. So, yeah, your boy practically going to be live streaming every day this week. And bam, there is the notification. So now all of Vibe Nation knows that this podcast is officially live. Now that we got that out the way, I can get into the introduction, bring my dude in, and we can begin tonight's festivities. So let's get this intro popping, baby. So, it's episode 59, and tonight I'm calling in the heavy artillery, baby. That's right. The B-roll himself is up next on VypDrive. Travis MCP is in the building, and the podcast starts right now. What's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and welcome back to another episode of VypDrive. This is the podcast about tech, hosted by the man about tech. And tonight, I am bringing in one of the most exciting tech YouTubers in the game today. He calls himself the B-roll. That's right. Travis MCP is in the cut. What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? How goes it?
It goes, man. It goes. Thank you for joining me tonight. I am definitely appreciative of you and your time.
Yeah, I mean, I see you bringing out the big guns lately, so I'm like, let me see if I can get a little bit of this juice.
I see you, baby. I see you. So this is interesting to me. You and me started YouTube around almost the same time. I think you started it in February 2018, right?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. My very first kind of techish thing was exactly 2 years ago tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. The one, I mean, depending on how you look at it, like after that, I did a couple like vloggy things. So I still wasn't sure. And then I really like staked my claim in February. But if you kind of want to be technical about it, it's 2 years tomorrow.
All right. Well, happy YouTube anniversary to you. But you, sir, you are a man of my own heart because you made a bet on yourself in your very first year of YouTube. The 10,000 subscriber bet.
Yeah.
Tell us about the 10,000 subscriber bet that you made on yourself, bro.
Yeah, it was I've talked about this a couple times, and it was both a blessing and a curse. Essentially, you know, when I decided to get into doing a YouTube channel, when I was like, okay, I'm actually going to try and really try hard. I need to keep myself honest and make sure that I was actually going to try hard. And I know myself pretty well, so I know what kind of things I need to do to keep myself honest, keep myself going. So one of the things was I said, all right, look, if I can't get to 10,000 in 1 year, then I'm just going to quit. And, you know, I would not recommend that for most people. I think it's kind of a silly thing to do, but I needed to do it because, you know, I need to make sure I was going to put everything I could into it. And if I didn't make that goal, I didn't think that I was ever going to make that goal. So little did I know, because I knew so little at the time, that was a ridiculous thing to do. But I mean, it worked out. It ended up working out.
Man, you put your head down, you grinded, and you made it happen, man. So congratulations to you, man. Glad you didn't quit, man, because you're one of my favorite creators. So I'm glad you didn't quit. You did the damn thing.
I appreciate that.
So I guess the next logical question is, what brought you to YouTube? Why did you start making YouTube videos?
Yeah, it's a pretty good question. Basically, back in 2011 or so, somewhere around there, 2011, 2012, I stopped a mixed martial art podcast that I've been doing for quite a while. I kind of got burned out. I liked it, but I was getting burned out on it. And I'd always considered going back. and doing podcasting again, but I just never got around to it. That kind of 3 or 4 month break turned into like 7 years or something like that. And I'd always considered trying YouTube, and I think like everyone, you put just a couple videos here and there, but you're not really trying to do anything with it. But it was I started watching a lot more YouTube in, I think it was the end of 2017. I started just as like my regular viewing. I think it's because I was looking up drones and stuff. And I ended up watching The Everyday Dad, and I started kind of digging him. And he had a video in January of 2018, where he said, hey, this is my one. I've been doing this for a year, and I got 10,000 subscribers. And I'm like, holy crap, you can get 10,000 subscribers in a year? Because I was positive at that point that there's no way you could do that. You could get 10,000. I was like, the only people that are in YouTube that are big are people that are just big, and it's just never going to happen again. So when I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, maybe I should go for this. So it was really because of that. I always wanted to do something else entertaining again. I wanted to get back into it. But that was what kind of got me going.
It's always cool when you can like draw inspiration from other creators and they can help jumpstart the motivation within inside you to do what you want to do. It's a beautiful thing. This YouTube community is lit.
Yeah, and that's another thing, because for the first many months of me doing YouTube, it was very lonely, and it is for a lot of people. I mean, it's very lonely for a lot of people, but it was a couple months in when I did my first collab with Jeff, and Jeff knew like you and a couple other people. And then once I became part of that community, that changed. I mean, it was like chapter 2. It was really like part 2, because the first part was really lonely and just trying to figure it out on your own. And, I don't recommend that. I think it's always better when you have like a group of people around you that can not only give you advice, but by the same token, like help you through the tough times and that sort of thing. It really made a big difference. Made a big difference.
Yeah, I would definitely attest to the fact that having a tribe or finding your dope squad, and Peter McKinnon would say, is definitely the way to go if you choose to take the YouTube path. But we got to talk about your current pinned tweet, baby, because you.
What is my current pinned tweet? I don't even know anymore.
Casey Neistat. Hello.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got to talk about how that all came about. You made a video about Casey, and then he saw the video and responded. So tell us about that experience. Were you kind of linking up with Casey Neistat?
Yeah, Casey's cool, man. I mean, I feel like I miss him whenever I'm at live events, but I'd love to get up with him. So basically, I was just, I like to do different type of content. Like, I think at the time I was still just doing mainly reviews, but every so often I do just something weird. And I remember watching one of his video. He used to do Tech Tuesday, and I always thought it was pretty cool. And I remember like thinking, wow, in some ways, if you look at it in a certain way, he's like a really excellent tech YouTuber. Like he's one of the best in that he can bring something that's technical down to someone who's not technical's kind of speaking point, and really and that was something that I kind of tried to pride myself on. So I just made a video that was kind of contrarian. I'm like, he's the best tech YouTuber. And I was like, whatever, right? I did know that every so often he would watch videos about himself. So I knew there was like an off chance that he might see it, but I wasn't hanging my hat on that in any way. And then when he tweeted at me, like all within a couple of minutes, he tweeted at me, left a comment on the video. I did, and then retweeted. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was really cool. And that for me, it was more about I don't care about the shout out portion. Like that's cool, but the part of it that really got me was that someone who I respected and really appreciated and respected my work, which to me, that's the same thing whenever I don't do a lot of content about other creators. I mean, I just did something about Austin Evans because I think he hit on something that, we've been all hitting on, but I appreciate the kind of like the head nod, like
right.
Like that's what I appreciate. I don't care about the shout out stuff. I don't care about that.
Yeah, no doubt. It's nice to know that people that you look up to and whose content you've watched for a long time on the platform acknowledges the work that you put in. So it's definitely legit.
Yeah.
Yo, Armadillo Tech, thank you for the $5 super chat. He's saying that Travis is 6'2". Yeah, a lot of people were talking about your height out there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny because apparently people think I'm short, which maybe they don't think I'm short. Maybe they just are surprised that I'm 6'2". They just never thought that, which I didn't know that wasn't coming across in my video. So I thought it was really odd. I was like, you're so tall. And then by like the 7th or 8th time in a row, I'm like, okay, this is a thing. So yeah, that was good.
Yo, Travis,
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to calm down because me and you had an interesting experience a couple of years ago. We kind of have like one of the same favorite YouTubers, and me and you got to live stream with this particular YouTuber, Flossy Carter. So tell my listeners about your experience live streaming with Flossy Carter.
Yeah, I mean, I have to thank you for that because I would have not had that opportunity for sure without you. I've had some interactions with Flossy, and it's because of that live stream that he actually did collab with me later on a video I did later, or last year, I should say. Really, it's because of you having such a phenomenal kind of live stream that people of all sizes feel comfortable coming on, that even happened. And Flossy's just a difficult person to peg down in general.
Yeah.
So for someone I've been watching for an incredible amount of years, yeah, I mean, that was cool. I was like super hyped about that. I was really honored that he collabed with me because that's kind of difficult. That like seems to never happen. So that's been one of the cooler things, just because I like Flossy so much, and I dig his content. So it's always been, for me, and I know for you the same. Like we just dig who he is, and to have someone like respect, the grind and everything that what we're putting in is awesome. I love it.
Yo, let me tell you all, Flossy Carter is legit, man. Not only did he come and live stream with us, he hung out for some 5 hours, like 5+ hours, like bananas, like, and it was a lit live stream. For those of y'all that missed it, it's up on the channel if you guys want to go watch that replay. I was in there with me, Travis, Roberto, Blake. I think Catwoman was there, Painfully Tech was there, Flossy Carter was there. We were all hanging out in the same live stream for 5 hours, just lit. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was lots of fun. When I made the video about Flossy Carter, I even kind of mentioned a lot from that live stream because it was so funny. There was just aspects of it that I was crying. I was laughing so hard when it was happening. So it's still one of my favorite things I've participated in. It was just such a cool night for sure.
No doubt, man. So this next bit is hella interesting to me personally because Marquez came out with his smartphone awards for 2019 a few weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah.
He called the OnePlus 7 Pro his smartphone of the year.
Yeah.
Now, for anybody who's living under the rock, y'all know that I disagree vehemently with that award. But the interesting thing about this particular award is that this man on my podcast, my guest right now, actually agrees with Marquez. And what makes this even more like crazy and strange to me is that if it wasn't for me, I don't think Travis would even got a OnePlus 7 Pro. So yeah, I need to know. Right. I'm the reason why Travis got a OnePlus 7 Pro last year in the first place. And then he goes and agrees with Marquez that it's the smartphone of the year. So I'm just curious, what makes you think, or why do you believe that the OnePlus 7 Pro was the smartphone of the year last year?
And this is kind of a personal thing, I guess. Does it mean it's the best spec device? No, it wasn't, obviously. Does it mean it had the best camera? No. But it hit so many. First of all, one of the things that actually made it so high on my list was the price, which I just can't ignore. And so people go, well, if you ignore the price, well, but you can't, because if you can't afford the thing, it doesn't matter how good it is. Like, I don't care if a Ferrari is car of the year if I can never have it. I don't care. Like, tell me the things that I can get that would be like the phone of the year. But for me, like, price is part of it. Another part of it was just the speed and the way it's so smooth. But really the thing that kind of, and maybe this is unfair, but one of the things that really worked in its favor was that I was never looking forward to it. It felt like it came out of nowhere. And, it was never a contender in my mind. It was like, it was either going to be Samsung or iPhone, it was always going to be one of those two. And then all of a sudden you had something that actually had a reason to be in the mix. For me, it was my most enjoyable Android phone of the year, easily, by far. Now, I love my iPhone now. It's fine. I love it. It has some, when I went to Vegas, I talked about in a recent video, the lack of multitasking started to annoy me. But I would say that my most favorite kind of like best experience with the phone this past year was the OnePlus 7 Pro, over even the Note 10 Plus and stuff. So I think when I say phone of the year, I take everything with a grain of salt. I mean, everyone's going to have a different opinion, and mine weighs on a lot of things that some people don't put as much value behind. Some people just ignore price altogether, and that's I respect that. But I think price plays a big point in a phone of the year candidate for me, because again, if you can't afford it, it doesn't kind of matter. You know, you can come out with a $30,000 phone and then say, well, that's always the phone of the year. Just come out with a $30,000 phone every single year. Like that doesn't make any sense. There's got to be some kind of credence put into the pricing of a phone. Just my thoughts.
No, I completely understand that. So for Marquez, I think his big thing was refresh rate, and it seems like your big thing is price.
Well, I mean, the refresh rate is a small part of a bigger puzzle. I think some people are overlooking refresh rate, and other people are hyping it up too much. What makes the refresh rate excellent is when the operating system works with it, and I think Oxygen does. Everything just opens and closes so fast. And it's not even something where you have to go in and turn off a bunch of animations. I never touch any of the animations on the OnePlus 7. I had to on the Note. It just felt right. It almost felt like it. This is the funniest thing. It almost felt like iOS on an Android. Like it was that kind of level of smooth. And when anything that I ever use it, and I waited months, and I'm like, is this thing ever going to slow down? Waiting for it to slow down, waiting for it to get that Android slowdown that most phones got, and it never got it. Never got it.
Yeah. I can definitely attest, since I have a OnePlus 7 Pro, even though I don't really use it anymore, but it is definitely fast. It's fluid. It's a decent phone. Like, I personally didn't feel like it was smartphone of the year, but by no means wasn't a bad device. It was a very good device. I mean, I enjoyed the time that I used it, so it's definitely legit.
You could definitely say that the iPhone is, or even the Note is, because of all the different features and stuff it has. But I also like to look at the core. Lately, I've been really looking at the core functionality of these devices and the things you use 90% of the time, not the thing you use one time to show a friend because it's cool and no other phone can do it. I mean, who cares? I mean, right. You can draw a little bunny on your face and it moves around when you move your face. That's great. If you're 12 on TikTok, that's awesome. But if you're not, then who cares? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So you had another unique experience last year. I had a similar experience in 2018. You went to Vid Summit.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. So talk about your experience at Vid Summit 2019.
Yeah, that was cool too. I think in a lot of ways, Vid Summit was, for me, I went to VidCon Vid Summit last year, and right. Vid Summit blew VidCon out of the water. And obviously, because you get to be surrounded by a bunch of creators that are just cool. That was the first, well, that was the second one, because I had met Jeff before that. So Jeff and I have become really good friends. Not just streaming now, we've actually met and hung out, I think 3 times now, like CES, Vid Summit, and another time. So we've been able to grow like a real genuine friendship, despite the fact that we don't live anywhere near each other. But Vid Summit was one of those times where we got to hang out a little bit, and I got to meet some new people. Brandon Butch is a cool dude. Got to meet Brandon from This Is Tech Today. A bunch of people that were in our circle. And then just other random people. And I think there's nothing cooler than being in that environment when you are a creator. Like, it's just creators. That's all it is. It was really the energy that you get from that place, and being surrounded, just walking around and seeing all the I feel like I'm still there. I feel like I was just there the other day, and here I was hours ago looking at hotel prices already. I'm like, yeah, all right, let's gotta get this going. But yeah, I'm very excited to go again. I hope you'll be there this time. It'll be lots of fun if you can come on down there.
Yeah, if I have my way, I would definitely be coming back to Vid Summit in 2020, no doubt, man. So what was your biggest takeaway from Vid Summit?
I was really busy during the entire time. But I will say that, so it wasn't anything about like YouTube in general. It was just really the relationships, which I think got ironically taken to another level at CES, because I was able to spend even more time with friends and stuff at CES. I feel like ironically, Vid Summit kind of set me up for CES in hanging with people and becoming more friendly and more, having more friends. And I think it's really important, because YouTube is the weirdest thing for people who aren't creators, and it's very difficult to explain what it's like to be like popular but never interacting with anyone, really. I mean, really, that's what or at least not seeing the people, like comments and stuff. And at first that's really cool, but then at some point you get so used to it, it becomes fake. Like, you don't believe it's real. Like, those aren't real people leaving comments until you meet someone, and then it becomes real, because as humans we crave interactions with actual other people, like actual human beings. And I think as humans I think we're more pack animals than some of us would like to admit. So when you actually have an opportunity to be a part of a pack that does the same thing, you feel a lot closer to that that person or that group of people, and it's just a better experience all around.
Absolutely, man. I put out a tweet today. I made a self goal for myself this year to hit 100K on the main channel, and in my tweet I said I need to be surrounded by people who are trying to go after the same things I'm going after and who are about putting in the work. I can't be surrounded by negativity. I don't want that type of aspect in my life. So if you're not about the grind, then I gotta put you aside. You gotta go on the back burner, because I need positive people in my aura, man. Because I'm like you, man. I need like-minded people that are going after or that are going after similar things to what I'm trying to achieve. So no doubt.
Yeah. And it's just the YouTube journey is weird, man. Like, I mean, there's I've had lots of conversations with creative friends that where I've had to be real, like real vulnerable, and they've been real vulnerable with me. So I've had these conversations with people that got super real, and creating is rough. It's you wish that these subscriber numbers and stuff actually meant something more than what they actually do. For me, the 10 was really important in order to kind of validate something in my mind that I thought was a validation. I can tell you, I feel no more validated now than I did then. And in some ways I feel less validated. So these are not to say not to go for goals. You should. I mean, it keeps you going, it keeps you motivated. But you should have like multiple goals, because once you hit the main goal, and you're there, it's kind of like, man, now what? At the end of the day, man, most of these things are just numbers on a computer screen somewhere, and they don't mean as much as we think they do. I personally kind of struggle with this at times. And you hear like imposter syndrome all the time. I don't think I have imposter syndrome, but I mean, maybe I do and I don't realize it. Maybe it's a bit of like wondering what other people think of me. In some cases I don't care. Like, if you like my content, great. If you don't, that's fine. No big deal. But I'll tell you, I'll be real honest with you. This January we're in right now, these last 21 days, tomorrow being my 2-year, have been some of the worst days as far as like general performance. And the problem is that feeds into a psyche of a creator who's been told that they're validated by their view numbers. And in some instances, you really are. So for me, it's been terrible. Now, I got mentally beaten down so much in 2019 that what is probably the biggest beatdown mentally I've ever had, which is this month, doesn't even hurt as much as I know that it could. Like, it probably should destroy me. I probably would quit. If this had happened 6 months ago, I probably would quit. The only reason that it isn't affecting me as much, it is affecting me. I'm not going to lie. It is absolutely affecting me. But the only reason it doesn't affect me to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm quitting tomorrow, is because I've been so beaten down by the up and down nature of YouTube that I almost don't feel anything. I know that I do feel bad. I actually do feel bad. And I'm struggling to kind of understand what I can do to make things better. But if I hadn't been so ruined by what I consider overall a failure, which was 2019, I might actually take this a lot more to the head than I even am now. And I could say I'm taking it to, and I have other creative friends that I talk to that are really taking it to the head. And I hope that they don't, quit at the last second, because I'll be honest, this is rough. I guess validation, though, needs to come through other things than numbers, because if you rely on those numbers, man, that is such a fickle thing.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody else about this. Sometimes you just gotta get up and walk away and come back another day, man. I mean, when you're feeling that type of way, just walk away and go do something else. Go do something maybe non-YouTube related. Just go enjoy life, because there's more to life than YouTube and numbers and things like that. So sometimes we just need to step away from the platform and just go live out some real life, and then come back later when we're more mentally refreshed.
Yeah. It's so I was looking at my 2019 and 2018 numbers before I got on here. And what had happened in 2019 is I would have a terrible month, and then I would have a good month, and then have a bad month and a good month, maybe 2 good months in a row and then a bad month. So do this. This is what I'm talking about, where I was kind of beaten down so often. It would be one thing if you had like 8 months of greatness and then you just had 2 bad months and you went, 8 again. I literally was going like every other month. So that's why I'm kind of like, okay, just punch me in the face. But the interesting thing is, like, I consider 2019 a failure, which is for me, I feel bad for anyone who would look at that and say that I'm being pretentious in some way, because if I look at 2019 and what I did accomplish, I accomplished a lot of great things, but the goals that I set myself in 2019 were completely failed. I failed them so much so that I'm glad it wasn't the first year, because I would have quit, like legitimately would have quit. So I've got to try to keep on target for a little while. I'll tell you what keeps me going. One thing that does keep me going are my Saturday morning live streams, because the people that show up for those have literally changed my day on occasion. I've gone into the live streams on occasion. Like, I remember even this past weekend, this past Saturday, I set up my stuff and I'm like, I want to do this, but I don't want to do this. Like, I'm not mentally, I was beaten down. I was feeling terrible. Like, I don't even know that I can have any kind of fun. I think if you watch the beginning of the live stream, you can tell that I wasn't feeling up to it. By the time the thing was over, man, I felt so good because the people that showed up showed out. And it was, it's this part I'd heard before I became a creator. I don't even know if I like the word creator, but it's the thing that I used to watch other YouTubers talk about. Oh, the algorithm. And I remember thinking as a viewer, before I ever had a channel, I was like, these people are complaining about nothing. There's no algorithm. What are you talking about? You just need to make better content, or, why would you be depressed? Just making videos. Shut up. Right. These things are going through my mind. But when you go through it, you realize this is real stuff. And as silly as it might seem, I mean, it's not like I'm working at Burger King, my hours got cut, and now I really don't have any money. Like, I mean, it's definitely not that bad. I fully admit that. And it's not like someone just died. It's not like I'm going through that emotional turmoil. There is a different level. Everything's different. Like, everything's relative to what disappointment is. Your disappointment at your $2 million a year job might be not getting your bonus. Your disappointment at your job at Popeyes might be not getting your 15 cent an hour raise. Everything is relative, and it can hit you just as hard. So for us, having what would be considered an overall bad month and, not getting views or whatever, which means maybe no sponsorships, and certainly your money gets cut into, that's some scary stuff. And you have no direct control over it. Like at Wendy's or something, just flip them burgers better. But here, like, you could make a video that would normally get 20,000 views and make it in the wrong month and get like 2,000 views. And it's there, you have no control over that. There's nothing to do. Then you have these weird things like people, and when you start putting yourself out there for social media, you're open to criticism, right? And you have to make that exchange and know that, hey, I'm going to put myself out there, so people are going to criticize me. You have to be okay with that. Right. After you're okay with, if you can even put yourself through that. Some people, that was one of my biggest fears when I first started. I don't know what people are going to say about me. I don't know what people are going to say about me. Now, I mean, I whatever, right? You have to get not only a thick skin, your skin's got to be dead in some instances. I know you know this. I know you know this.
Yeah.
I mean, you get stuff, you laugh it off, which is kind of funny, but not everyone could laugh off some of the stuff people have said to you. And I major respect for what you've done, because that is not a small thing. You get past that, then you realize people are after you just cause, and then you get something that happens like to John Prosser, fucking swatting you. Sorry for the language, but I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yep.
Swatting people, potentially taking your life. That's not legit. And then they try to hack your stuff. I don't know if Prosser's ever talked about, I know he talked about it to us. He might've mentioned it, years ago. Like, they figured out where he lived, and they're like, we're turning his power off and stuff, like getting his power shut off. I mean, just ridiculous stuff. Like, this is stuff that people don't, and I will tell you this right now. I've made a decision about a lot of this stuff already. Is not to pro wrestling, man. They say, selling. When you sell something, like in pro wrestling, you get hit, you sell, you go, oh, like, you're like, I'm not selling nothing. If you say something mean to me, and even if it does affect me, you're never going to know. You're never even going to know if I even saw it. Not going to give you that I'm not going to give you that amount of time. You know, if you do something that's illegal to me, don't worry, you'll get yours, but you're not going to know. No one else is going to know. I'm not going to give you the platform I worked hard to get to allow you to try to take me down. So
amen, man. Amen. I feel you. I mean, it's like I say, life is too short, and we don't have time to be embracing these negatives and these haters and people that are just trying to bring negative aura into our space, man. We just got to keep going for what we're trying to go for and just block out all the noise, really. Block out the noise.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's it. It is just something, it is weird to be, and I'm not a big YouTuber by any means, and I have this thing where I still see myself as like having like 10 or 15,000 subscribers, whatever that's supposed to feel like. That's what it feels like to me. And I felt that way for a long time. And I'm surprised when anyone knows who I am. It's but it is a weird exchange that you're giving up privacy and certain other things, which some of that stuff I don't care about. But for some people, you might think, oh, I'd love to be a TikTok or YouTube star. I don't know if you really want that. Now, some people think they do, but they don't really want that, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely another world, man. But let's take it back to a more happy subject. You just got back from CES, so let's talk about your time at CES.
CES was amazing. I have to decide whether or not I'm going to go back next year, and it wouldn't be because I didn't have a great time. I had an amazing time, and you have to go into CES with a battle plan. That never became more obvious to me than when I was there, and I kind of knew it going into it, and I did have somewhat of a battle plan. But I think the biggest thing, the number one thing, is to know what you're going to do while you're there, because it's an industry thing, right? So if you don't know, I would actually recommend, if you don't have a bunch of like sponsor stuff you need to go, just go and just walk, and don't try to be 27 places, because the place is a crap show. With the traffic, it's terrible, man. I've never seen something like that. At the end of the day, man, like I would do it again next week if I could. It was really cool things about it, but it is very draining. I think one day I did 23,000 steps, which sounds ridiculous. I don't even know how that's possible. But yeah, Vype, you need to go, just because it's our people. That is as close to a tech conference as you will get, as far as like TechTube, instead of like VidCon, like a TechCon, which I've been talking about for years. Like CES is that.
Yep. So what was like the most coolest piece of tech or coolest concept you saw at CES?
I saw a lot of cool stuff. I saw them robots. You know how I feel about them.
Right.
Aside from that, just a lot of cool stuff, man. One of the cool, I keep talking about this because for me, it was one of the cooler kind of, not moments, because there's multiple of them, but like I said, I got to grow like a real friendship with a couple guys. Jeff being one of them. And that dude, that's a great dude.
Yes, he is.
But here's what's funny. So we're on the floor, and it's so funny because I'm the bigger YouTuber, right? Which is, I think it's hilarious because I don't feel that way. And when we go to these little places for the different manufacturers, like Jeff is like the celebrity. I'm like invisible, which is totally fine with me. I was getting a kick out of it, because like Jeff would go to these different headphone manufacturer tables and stuff, and after he would have his meeting, like they would always ask for a picture with him. I'm like, this dude is got, and I said, these little ladies are giving you the googly eyes and stuff too, man. Go ahead and take this picture while you can, because let me tell you something. It was nice. It was really cool to experience that. But tech wise, I mean, there was a bunch of stuff, and I think what we're going to see, unfortunately, is most of that stuff is never going to come out. I think that's one thing. But the biggest thing I walked away from CES was TCL is a bigger player than I ever imagined.
Oh yeah,
in so many aspects, because it wasn't just like the phones and TV. It wasn't just that. If you were in Vegas, just in Vegas, you could not get away from a TCL sign, poster, or something anywhere. Like they owned Vegas, and it was weird because that would be something you would think Samsung or Apple would pull, right? They were big time in everybody.
Yo, I told you all, TCL coming for everybody's next, man. They're not playing.
I'm telling you, TCL. I need to get up with some TCL and be their best friends because I did not know they had it like that. Or they might be broke by tomorrow because they spent out on Vegas. I mean, like trucks, you drive by with TCL, they had the signs when you were waiting for a bus, whatever, all the signs are like everything was TCL. They had a big party, which I didn't get a chance to go to. They TCL is everything. So I feel like I wish I had known that. I didn't figure it out until I was about leaving. I should have made a better connection with the TCL guy at the very first thing I went to was a TCL event. I wish I had known that they were big time in everybody. Otherwise, I would have gone home with them. I don't know. Those dudes were doing it.
Yeah, TCL is definitely going to be a major player. And like Travis said, they're not just only in phones. They got I think they got a foldable, like they got other stuff going on. You can't. Oh, they got TVs and everything. Like they are a big player in the tech game on the come up for real. So definitely be on the lookout for TCL. You will hear their name, and you will hear their name a lot in the coming years ahead. Definitely.
Yeah. For sure.
For sure. So Travis, you know we got a bunch of tech coming in 2020. So what are you looking forward to most in 2020 as far as tech goes?
You ain't gonna like this.
No.
I like that clamshell phone, son.
Oh,
I want the Samsung version though. I don't think I want the Motorola. Motorola's rest in peace. If that Samsung comes out like under $1,000, I love Michael Fisher. I got to hang out with him, got to meet him in person. I collabed with him. He's just been a really cool dude. I'll tell you about some of the conversations we had here in a minute. But he's wrong, son. Motorola, rest in peace. If that Samsung comes out, and you can clip this and you can put it on Twitter and tweet it right at him. Michael Fisher, I love you, but you wrong, son. He's talking about nostalgia, and I get that, but there ain't enough nostalgia in the world for $1,500 on a phone that's underpowered. It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of times the average consumer, they don't really care about a phone being underpowered.
Paying $1,500 for a flip phone. It's not happening.
You would be surprised, bro.
They're not an average consumer then. They're not an average consumer paying $1,500 for a phone. They're something else.
You know the Motorola Razr was the iPhone of its day, though, right? It
was legit. You saw them everywhere. They were cool.
Yep.
You don't got to do that no more. The battle's in the mid range now. 2020 is the battle of the mid range.
Yeah, but we're just talking about the Razr though. When the Razr comes out, because for whatever reason it's been indefinitely delayed, but when it comes to market, Travis, you know it's gonna make some noise.
They're gonna sell some.
Oh yeah.
But what does that mean? Just like for the Galaxy Fold, they said they like sold a bunch, or so you can say you sold out.
Oh, you can't compare it to that. Come on, man.
What is this? You can say you sold out of something if you only sold 12 of them and only made 12 of them. You know what I mean? Like you can say whatever you want. You can say, listen, I sold out of that thing. I sold out of them, son. Well, you made 3. Okay, congratulations. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying they can make a limited run that's just a little bit larger than their pre-order hype thing, which they did a pre-order, but not really a pre-order, whatever the hell that was. Just make a couple more extra than that. And you say, we sold out of them. So you see one person every 16 years that has one.
Every 16 years.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, Travis. There is a palpable Galaxy Fold army on Twitter, man. A lot of people that we know have the phone, so I don't know, Travis. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I'm just saying, man. Like, there's a lot of people that like that phone, so I think you're right though. There are a lot of people that are gonna be gravitating towards that Samsung clamshell for real.
I think so, and I think it'll probably be a better phone overall. So let's see. I hope that it is. I mean, because I kind of want it. I got some extra phones I need to sell. So if anyone wants to buy one of my old my iPhone XR or my Samsung A51, this is the Homeboy Shopping Network right now, son. I'm gonna give Vype a 5% cut. Whatever we can sell here today. Let's get this going. Let's get some bids in the chat.
Right, Travis MCP, baby, hit him up.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So you talked about being at VidSummit. You talked about being at CES and meeting all the creators. So I'm curious, Travis, what would be your dream collaboration?
Yeah, you know what's funny? I think I've already done it. It'd probably be a Floss, which was something I never thought would be possible. I would love to do more. I want to be all my collabs for the most part have not just been your typical collab. Like I try to do something interesting with them. Like even with you, the collab we did on your channel for the Echo Show, like I was
Right.
calling you through the Echo Show. Like I like doing different stuff, like something that's
Right.
just different. I like that. I've done collabs with smaller channels. I've done collabs with bigger channels. I don't know. I also would like, because I think it'd be interesting to it's not like a dream collab. Like I don't care if I ever do it. I just think it would be interesting to there's at least one video idea that I would like to do if it ever comes to be, and that would be sit down with MKBHD and watch that video I made a year and a half ago. And then just film the reactions from it. And I don't, it's not something I really like. If it never happens, I don't care. I just think it would be interesting because it could be slightly cringy, which would be kind of funny, I think. And I think there should be some interesting things because A, I never said anything bad about him, but B, like, I just think it would be, there's something interesting to me about that. And I like things that are interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of. Everything else is just like, hey, it'd be cool to, do something with Jonathan again. I'd love to do something with, I don't know how it would work, something with Michael Fisher, but I don't even know. I just need to figure out stuff that is different and interesting. That's the way I like to do the collabs.
Yeah, I think when you come up with a collaboration idea, it's definitely better when you come up with something unique that hasn't been done before, or just something that's out of the norm. Because I mean, how many creators are on YouTube doing the same videos all the time? I mean, you definitely got to come up with something fresh and different and like never before done, or just something that's out of the norm, because we see the same old tired stuff every year. And I mean, you gotta be different. You gotta be fresh.
And this is probably the bad way to do it, but there's only one time out of all the collabs I've done that I actually that I can think of, that I put the creator's name in the title. Most of the time I surprise you with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't mention at all that Flossy Carter is in that one video. I don't mention at all that Mr. Who's the Boss is in that one. You know what I mean? Like Michael Fisher's the only one where I think I actually said, with Michael Fisher, and that was one of my first like kind of bigger collabs. But for the most part, I like to surprise people. I always think I obsess over what the viewer's going to get, what kind of experience they're going to have. I don't really care about me getting anything out of it. I really don't. What I like, because if I did, I would put it up like, hey, look, I'd promote it. I'd do a premiere on it, but look, I'm going to collab with so-and-so. I rarely say anything. You actually have to watch the video, and all of a sudden, Mr. Who's the Boss is doing a voiceover, or Flossy Carter starting the video. Like I had people, I thought it was hilarious. I had so many people leaving comments on the Flossy Carter, on the video that with Flossy was in, that said they either refreshed it, rewind, thought they were on the wrong channel. I thought I was on Flossy channel. I thought it was an advertisement. I like that. I think that's awesome. Like that's exactly what I wanted, because I started that video with Flossy. Like I'm not even in it. Like you don't even know it's my video. I love doing that sort of stuff. So when I think of collabs, I obsess over what the viewer is going to experience, and I don't look to get anything out of it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's the way I do my Friday night live streams. That's like, I don't tell people who's coming. Like you just got to show up and see who comes, and then we'll go from there. You never know. You just never know. I think that elements of the prize, and just, and kind of like the way that Disney Plus hid Baby Yoda from us until the very last second.
That's right.
The element of surprise into everything, man.
Yes, that's why I don't. When I know, for example, I'm going to watch a movie, I try not to watch the trailers. Like if I know I'm going to watch a movie, I just don't watch trailers. I didn't see the trailer. I didn't watch most of the trailers for Star Wars. I didn't watch almost any of the trailers for like John Wick 3, because at that point I knew I was going to get it. I was going to watch it. Like all those movies and stuff like that, or even video games. As soon as I know, okay, I'm going to watch it, I'm going to get it. I don't look. I just straight up don't look, because trailers will ruin a movie.
Yeah, sometimes you're right. Trailers will definitely give away a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
So, Travis.
Yes.
You gotta answer this question.
All right. I'll answer anything.
Right after this. So where did that come from?
So I'm glad you brought that up. Because that became, I would not have ever even doubled down on that at all had it not ended up in my comments so often. From the very get-go, the very first video I did, the catchphrase was always going to be "What up, play us?" That was it from the beginning. There was nothing else. Then when I started doing some videos, I was like, okay, I need to transition from this intro part to just getting into the actual video. And I'm just like, I don't know, right after this. Like, and if you watch some of my older ones, I don't even say it in any kind of like funny way. I'm just like, right after this, it's just, there's nothing to it. So, I kind of start to kind of get into it more and put more into it and whatever. But again, not thinking anything of it. It's literally just a transition point from the beginning through my intro to what I play as, which has always been for me, the money motto. And then comments just kept coming in on Twitter and on YouTube videos. I'm going to watch this right after this. And, I love the right after this. And if you ever stop, I've heard this. If you ever stop saying right after this, I'm going to unsubscribe. I mean, just weird stuff. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll dig into it more. So then I start playing around with it a little bit. And yeah, I appreciate it because that was something that really it was never a thing. And people pointed it out to me that they thought it was great. And it's so funny because that's so much about what we do is we think we know what the cool thing is. And it's probably something just left of what we think.
No kidding. I had no idea when I was doing my YouTube videos in the course of my videos that the word immediately would become merchandise.
Yeah. I'm like, I want that shirt. I kept telling you need to do. Was it
you did,
Ryan? I kept telling you, said you need to do merch on that because that's
you did. You were right, man. Like I had no clue. I was like, really? Like, but yeah, it's just stuff like that you never know can become something bigger than what it's meant to be, man. Crazy.
Yeah.
So, tell us about your podcast.
Yeah,
your new one.
Me and Cancel Greg are doing Cancel Greg over here. I think he's in the chat. I think I saw him earlier. So I was looking at perhaps coming back doing a podcast, and I was doing a live stream, and I was like, well, it would be cool to do a podcast again. And then I think someone asked me in the chat, like, well, who would you do it with, or what would you do it with? And I'm like, and then Greg just happened to be in chat. I'd probably do it with Greg. I didn't think anything of it before that. I was just like, in the moment, I was like, yeah, I mean, I can do it with Greg. That'd be interesting because we're kind of opposite, right? I'm good looking. He's not. I'm pretty awesome, and he's suspect. But the thing is that I liked Greg for like who he was and just as a person. I had a very little interaction with him up until that point, just a little bit here and there. And I just liked what I knew about him. And I thought it'd be, having done podcasts before and I used to have a pretty popular podcast. I had multiple co-hosts, and I kind of knew what kind of dynamic worked. And I just had a feeling that it could work. And I know Greg wanted to do a podcast all last year, and he was just looking for an opportunity to make something happen. And then, we talked it through, and I remember like one of the very first ones we were going to do, he was really about like, okay, we got to figure out how to do this and that. And I'm like, let's just go, man. I think we're going to be able to just make this work. And then one of the things that we heard a lot right off the bat was our chemistry. And I was like, well, I didn't really think about it like that, but I wasn't surprised either. I was like, yeah, I think just based on what I thought going into it, what it would be like, it just made sense. Like that was the whole reason I did it in the first place, because I thought it made sense to do it with me and him, because I think our personalities complement each other and their conversation styles kind of complement each other. And I'm super happy to be doing, I love the podcast. It's great. It's doing very well. It's growing faster than I thought it would, to be honest, if I'm really honest. But then Andrew got me shook this morning trying to figure out if I got to move it off there or not. I'm like, Greg, figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. I know Andrew talked about Anchor a lot being a dead platform, but I'm of the mindset that just because people don't update their podcast, that shouldn't be a reflection of the actual platform or whatever. But I mean, he's a smart guy, so I'm pretty sure
he is. It's hard to just dismiss Andrew when he says stuff like that. So I listen. I also did a little research, and it looks like Spotify is still like investing in podcast stuff. So it's not like if anything's going to happen, it's not happening soon.
No,
well, I'm not worried about moving soon. But he does make a point, because here's the thing: podcasts, unlike like YouTube, don't have an algorithm, which is both good and bad. Oh, Greg is a super chat. He's
shout out to Greg Gadget, Travis podcast co-host, for the super chat. I appreciate you, Greg. Thank you very much. No doubt.
This is why we get along so well, because
you guys really do have excellent chemistry, which is ridiculous.
Did you see that cancel video he did on me a while back?
You mean the little thing on Twitter? Yeah.
Yes. So he did a video. For those of you who don't know, I don't even know where that, he created like a whole new YouTube channel for it and everything. I gotta give him props, because we were doing this fake beef. So the fake beef between me and Greg, and by the way, it's fake. I'll just tell people on right now. It's an exclusive here on VypDrive. It's fake. So I remember and going back and forth with him on Twitter, and we were joking about all the drama that was going on at the time. I can't remember which drama was going down. It's probably the makeup people or something. And I said, man, we got to start one of these little beef things and then get all the subscribers, because you get all the subscribers, you do that. So I go to one of his videos and I leave a comment about like how it's terrible, or says video is terrible or something. And I left it before I watched the video, because watching the video was irrelevant. But he had actually shouted me out in the video, which I didn't know when I left the video about how terrible no one would watch it. And then he comes back with a comment like, oh, and I even shouted you out in the comment. I go, dude, this is not how you start a beef. What are you doing? You're ruining it. So he eventually kind of caught on. And then I'll be honest, he threw a shot that I've never tried to volley back, because it was so well done. I actually did start to work on something that would have been better, but I couldn't quite get it together. He made a fake, he made a cancel Travis video thing that to this, I mean, it was good, man. I don't know what to tell you. I had to tip my, so the only times when I've gone back and forth with somebody that I was like, okay, that's a good one. I'm out on this one. Like I don't do that, but I was like, all right, that's a good one. You put some time in on that.
Yeah, he's out there joking that this Sunday going to be the final Gadget Cast. Stop joking, Greg.
Yeah, no, everyone, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Stop joking.
I'll keep it going.
So, interesting question for you real quick. I know you used to do an MMA podcast, but do you actually like know MMA?
Yeah, I used to train MMA during the time, which is why I think so when I knew I was going to do the MMA podcast, I wanted to train at the same time. So I found a gym where a lot of UFC fighters trained at, and I trained at it while I was doing the podcast. I would interview some of those people, and it just so happens that the gym I trained at was actually pretty well renowned, especially in UFC and MMA circles. So I would get to interview a lot of very famous MMA fighters, UFC fighters. So that worked out really well. I think it's one of the reasons why it ended up being so successful as it did. But yes, I trained. It's been a minute. I actually was literally talking to a friend of mine who I used to grapple with. I just talked to him just the other day, and I'm like, I might want to get back into it, because one of the reasons I stopped is because the gym is far. First of all, Seattle's traffic is terrible. When I used to work in downtown Seattle, which I no longer do, but when I used to work in downtown Seattle, it would take upwards of an hour to get home from work.
Ooh.
Then I would have to drop Nathan off because he was going to work with me every day. And then I would have to go from here another 30 minutes or so to the gym to just try to make it in time. And that was just too much. So Saturday were the only days I was able to go. I really think, though, I might, now that I work from home, I think I might want to start going again. I was literally just talking about that. So we'll see.
So what did you train in?
It was I did mostly grappling, but it was actual MMA. So it wasn't like a traditional martial art. It was literally MMA, because it's an MMA gym. So some kickboxing, but I mostly did grappling because I really liked grappling.
Gotcha. No doubt.
Yeah.
So we are about at the end of the podcast, but Travis, if you can hang out with me for a little bit after, because we got to talk about Breaking Bad, bro.
Oh, we can talk about it right now real quick.
Oh, no. We need to have like probably a lengthy chat about Breaking Bad. Like off podcast chat about Breaking Bad.
All right.
So I think we're gonna end the live portion of the podcast here. Travis, before we get out of here, let the people know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, man. Travis MCP. Just Google me, and hopefully it'll show up. I mean, who knows nowadays, but I'm pretty sure it will. Just Travis MCP.
For those of y'all listening for those of you all watching in the YouTube live stream, thank you very much. If you super chatted tonight, thank you. I appreciate you guys' support. For those of you all listening on audio only, thank you for listening. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want to follow Travis, I will have all this information in the show notes below. If you want to support the podcast, there will be information in the show notes for that. But we are about to end the actual live portion of the podcast, and I will be back tomorrow night for episode 60, where we will have the audio maestro Gameski coming to the podcast tomorrow night. So until about 24 hours or so from now, I'll see you guys. This your boy Viper, the man about tech. You know where to find me. So come back for more. And that is the end of the live portion, or the end of the podcast portion of the stream. So Breaking Bad. We got to talk about this. Oh my God.
All right.
Bruh.
All right. Talk.
Like, you know, I binged the whole 5 years or the whole 5 seasons.
I don't think you should have done that. That's the thing. I would have never told you to do that.
Why do you say that though?
Because it's emotionally draining. Like, I didn't know that. So when you said you were going to start watching it, I thought you were a regular human and you were going to just watch it regularly. I didn't know you were going into super beast mode because, to my knowledge, I was like, the dude's not on vacation anymore. So it just never crossed my mind. Never crossed my mind that you would do that. And I would have never advocated for that as much as I love the show.
Yeah, you're not kidding. That show is like, here's the thing. Like, there's a show on Netflix called 13 Reasons Why. I got through the first season. To me, that is like the hardest show I've ever watched. That you really have to be in the mental headspace to watch 13 Reasons Why. It is a sad, depressing show. It's a show about suicide and things like that. So it's hard to watch, man. Like, that show will make you ooh. But Breaking Bad wasn't that bad. It was hard to watch. Like, especially like you said, when you're like binging it, like boom, 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 like I was. That show could take you to a not so nice headspace. It wasn't nearly as bad as 13 Reasons Why, but yeah, Breaking Bad, it takes you through a whole roller coaster of emotions and things like that. And then you don't know whether you want to root for or against Walter White. And the more you watch the show, the more you realize that, this dude is the incarnation of the devil. He's an a-hole, and it's just, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I think the writing and the cinematography especially was unbelievable, like next level cinematography. Here's the thing, and I think I mentioned this last time you were talked about it. The only reason I watched Breaking Bad in the first place was because I had been a fan of Dexter, and one year it had beaten Dexter for an award. I'm like, what the heck is this show? I'm like, I was positive Dexter was going to win, and then like Breaking Bad, I'm like, what is this guy? What is this show? So then I watched it from a bad, like I went into it going like, let me watch this trash. So I watched the first season and I pretty much hated it. There were very few moments that I was even mildly entertained. I pretty much hated it. I hated that it was slow. I hated that Walter was such an idiot. I hated all those things. Now, later on, I would come to love those things because it actually makes sense. But I don't know how I got through the first season because I didn't like it. And then like a couple things happened, like in the second season, very end of the first season, second season. And then I'm like, okay, this is getting pretty good. By the third season, I'm pretty much locked in. And by the second to the last season, I'm like, this is the greatest show ever. I'm like all on it. I'm buying I showed you the big Blu-ray thing. And I was the thing that made me sad is that it ended, but I'm glad that it did, and especially in the way that it did, because I think they actually ended the show great. The thing that was really scary was the fact that it was coming to an end, and the week before the finale of Breaking Bad was the finale of Dexter. And that had been terrible.
Yeah.
So I remember going into Breaking Bad going, I hope this is better because I don't know. But no, it ended up being really good.
Yeah, that's the one thing about big time shows like Breaking Bad. A lot of times these writers just do not know how to stick the landing. But Breaking Bad, they stuck the landing perfectly.
Yeah. And it's because it's the same director and the same person throughout the entire thing. They're not trying to do different showrunners. Like if you want to talk about Star Wars movies, basically having different directors and stuff that give different visions. That's why you're gonna have a disjointed kind of, and the same thing with Dexter. They had different showrunners and stuff. And I know that Walking Dead like has one like every year, which I don't even watch anymore. So it's hard to have a cohesive story when you have different showrunners every single season. But Breaking Bad had Vince the entire time. Vince. Yep. That's his baby. That's his thing. And if you don't like it, it's too bad. But you're going to like it. And he had characters that were just really, some that were lovable, some that you hated, some that you were afraid of, he had everything. And how he came up with this stuff is mind-blowing.
Bruh, when Gus came down to the workshop, put on the work suit, pulled out the box cutter, and just off Vince like that, and then walked back up the stairs and said, get back to work. I was like, damn.
It was so smooth. It was like,
damn.
Yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Like there were so many moments that were breathtaking when the girlfriend got shot at the door. That was like when Walter let the other girlfriend die. Like there were these moments that were just, and then there was moments that really pissed you off. Like, you're going to poison the kid. I mean, there was just
like, well, what?
Yeah, there were moments, but that is how true storytelling is masterful. Because if you actually react to a television show like that, they got you.
Dude, I was getting pissed at Walter White after more and more I watched the show. I was physically getting mad. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, I was getting mad.
That's why it's great. And that's always going to be my argument for it being one of the best ones, because you actually felt things during different episodes, whether it be fear, anger, joy, whatever. You felt things. When you felt sadness. There was times when you'd almost want to cry. Like there was just genuine sadness. There was almost like a sharp sadness when you couldn't even cry. You were just like you just felt. And that to me makes it one of the greatest of all time, because if you can say, hey, I was entertained by a TV show and I think it's the greatest of that, but I think only a truly great show can make you feel.
Yep. Yeah, Breaking Bad, whew, definitely one of a kind. No doubt, man. No doubt. That show. Yeah, like you said, it's funny because I watched the pilot a few years ago and I was not having it. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not watching it.
Right.
And then I came back to it this year and I finally got through season 1. I'm like, season 1 kind of slow, but
Right.
luckily it started to pick up towards the end. And then season 2, it started off and it kind of gradually got greater and greater. And then by season 3, we were rolling. I'm like, okay. Then you got season 4, which is like I think the pinnacle, and then season 5 was the finale and everything like that. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that show, yeah, that's a great show.
There were moments. Yeah. Now, having said that, El Camino, the movie's pretty darn good. It's a good little wrap up. And while I one of my favorite characters from Breaking Bad was, take a guess. Just guess.
Jesse.
No. I mean, Jesse was cool and Walter was cool, but it's another character.
You talking about Hank?
Saul.
Duh.
So I just thought Saul was hilarious. I thought he was great. So I've been watching Better Call Saul, although I think they've taken a little bit of a break. I will just say this about Better Call Saul: you could skip it, mainly because it's dreadfully slow. It's unfortunately slow, and the only reason I'm able to stick with it is because I'm so in love with the character anyway that I'm just like, okay, I'll stick around. But it would not be something that I would tell someone that they had to watch.
Yeah, no, I have not watched El Camino yet, but I do plan on watching that. But yeah, I don't think I could watch Saul. I mean, I like Saul in the series, but I don't know if I could watch his own show. I don't think.
No, I wouldn't expect that. But you should watch the movie, because the movie's pretty solid. It does feel like Breaking Bad, which is really interesting. And there's a couple of little cool things that happen in there. So yeah, no spoilers.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to do that.
Yeah, El Camino's a little bit slow too, but there's a lot more going on, and there's some really twisted things going on in it. So Genosis is right; it's a little bit slow, but there are some moments, and it's a movie, so it's like a one-shot deal. It's not like a couple TV shows. It's like,
yeah, like it's a 2-hour movie, and yeah, I still need to go watch that. But yeah, I got there. I had to talk to you about Breaking Back, and I know we talked about it a few weeks ago and things like that. But I need to dedicate some time to talk to you about this show, because this show is like. Whoo! This show is just like crazy, man. Like everything that's going on with Walter and the transformation, and
that was there were so many twists and turns in that show. Here's the other thing: as much as I love it, I haven't been able to get through watching it a second time, because some of it is very draining. So it still will be one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I don't know that I'll ever get a chance to go back through it, but I've gone through like The Office multiple times because it's just funny. It's light. I can appreciate Breaking Bad for what it was. I just don't know if I'll ever be able to go back through it, because there's just a lot.
Yeah, I don't see myself watching it again. I don't think I have any desire to go watch it again.
Yeah, it's weird the way that is. I have such an appreciation for something, bought the Big Barrel DVD thing, and be like, I don't think I can watch it. I don't know. I don't even know. Like, I don't know. I would watch the last couple episodes with someone who's never seen them before. Like I would do that, but by myself, I don't think so.
But isn't it? I think if there's one thing that was missing that I would like to see is like actual like kind of like battle between Heisenberg and Hank. It seemed the show just kind of glossed over it, but I think that would have been pretty cool to have that happen.
I feel like and we've talked about this, but for people who are watching this now and don't know, so Heisenberg and Walter White are two different people. They're in the same body, but they're two different people.
Yeah.
They handle things completely differently, which is why I say they're two different people.
Yep.
The way Heisenberg handles things is way different than Walter. Walter's he's not sure of himself. He's always worried about every little thing that can go wrong. Heisenberg's just like, let's just get it done. I don't care. I have a mission. This is it. So the problem with Walter and Heisenberg is whenever he would talk to him, he would switch back and forth because he couldn't keep one up. Like one wouldn't stay up.
Right.
Heisenberg lasted only a couple of minutes in that garage, and then immediately it's like back to Walter, like run into his car and stuff. Like, that's Walter. That's not Heisenberg. So I don't think there was any particular point in time. I think the reality of his world brought Walter back into Walter not being Heisenberg. Like there would never have been a battle of wits because in my mind, Walter would have lost every time.
Oh yeah.
Because Heisenberg could never stay around long enough.
I think if there's one like bad thing about the show, that I think that would be it. Probably not enough Heisenberg. Like if Heisenberg could like had like an entire episode or maybe an entire like whole like 4 or 5 episodes of just Heisenberg.
Yeah.
Whew, that could have took that show even more next level. But
could. I mean, they could always do the lost episodes. I mean, if they really wanted to, they could do like these in between things. Because there's a lot of stuff that happened off camera. Tons of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Tons of stuff happened off camera, and you could explore that more if you really wanted to. But yeah, Heisenberg was there when he needed to be, and Walt is. I think though, I don't know. Maybe this is a problem. Maybe it's not. If Heisenberg was on the screen all the time, although he was on the screen for a lot of times at certain moments, you would hate him so much that it might be hard to watch the show because he was a despicable guy, despicable, right?
Oh yeah. It's so funny. Like when I was watching it, I didn't immediately pick up on the fact that Walt or Heisenberg was the one who poisoned Brock. I thought it was Gus at first.
I know.
And then when I realized it was actually Walt, I'm like, what the?
Yeah. That's when you really start questioning, like, what has happened to him? Like, he had already, like, maybe killing a drug dealer or something. It's like, I mean, okay, I guess. But when you start going down that path, even like letting the girl like throw up, he almost seemed like he was just paralyzed. He didn't like die on her throw up. Like it was almost like he was paralyzed by what to do. Not like he was purposely letting her die, but he was like, I don't know what to do. Like you're just a bumbling idiot. But that was very much, I'm doing something. I'm specifically doing something that is just evil.
Yeah, I think he purposely made the decision to let her die so she would be out of his hair, more or less. Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's how grandiose the show is.
Yeah.
You don't know it at the time, but that action of him letting her die ultimately leads to the plane crash at the end of the season, and they do it so well because you get these foreshadowings like 5 or 6 episodes in a row of the debris of the plane crash, but you don't know what it is because they just show like this stuffed animal in a pool. And you have no idea. I was kind of get mad. I'm like, why do they keep showing us? What is this?
Well, I didn't know either. Listen, I'm like waiting weeks at a time. You're sitting there another hour later just finding out. I'm like, brother, I'm waiting a week for the answer. You're over here figuring it out very soon. So I'm like, all right now.
Yeah, I was just like, why do they keep showing it? What the hell is this? And then at the last episode when it all came together, I'm like, oh my
God. Then you start to have an appreciation for the storytelling and knowing that whenever that happens again in the future, anything like that, you're like, oh, that means something. That actually means something.
Like the way they brought that whole storyline together, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he did it really excellently. It was I mean, it was brutal. So the one thing I think I told you to do this, you might have already done this, is to check out the clip on YouTube of the 2 actors, Bryan Cranston and just the guy who did Just Pinkman, I forget what his name is.
Aaron Paul thing.
Aaron Paul reading the final sequence script for the first time on camera and their reactions to it. You can find it on YouTube. I think it's in the extras also if you own the DVDs. It's really incredibly interesting. And another interesting thing, and I think I mentioned this on maybe one of your live streams, but since there's people here listening, that Aaron Paul did not, and he said he was anxious and actually scared to read some of the final episodes because he thought that kind of goofy guy was going to kill him. And he said he basically went to Vince and said, you cannot let him kill me. I will be so upset. Because he legitimately hated not the actor, but he hated the character. Like if you watch interviews, he talks about how he hated that character. Now that says a lot, again, about the story.
Yep.
A guy who's acting in the show hates the character. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's why he was so happy that he got to kill him in the show. So
that's pretty legit. Yeah, it's kind of a spoiler, but y'all don't even know what we're talking about. So
yeah.
If you have not watched Breaking Bad, you should go watch Breaking Bad, but be ready because it's a lot to take in.
It is.
It's a lot to take in. Damn good show, but it's a lot to take in.
It is a lot to take in.
And on that note, I'm gonna get Travis out of here. I know he's busy. We're all busy. We got things to do. But Travis, thank you for showing up and rocking with me tonight, man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. It's been awesome, and I'm glad. And I hope people appreciated and liked it and got something from it.
No doubt. I'm going to end this stream, you all. So you all have a good night, and I will be back tomorrow.